present G.F. Newman's The Corrupted.
Why the world didn't disappear in a mushroom cloud in 1963, no one was quite sure. Nikita Khrushchev of Russia boasted that he had a 100-megaton bomb that could wipe out 800 million people, while America poured troops into South Vietnam to halt the communist invasion. Perhaps it was the Beatles that held it all together with their first LP, Please Please Me. Arnold Goodman was right about backing Harold Wilson, who had been elected leader of the Labour Party, following Hugh Gaitskell's death. Ironically, Joey and Cath joined the Conservative Party at this point, Joey contributing some of his ill-gotten gains, possibly out of gratitude to Ernest Marples for all the work the Ministry of Transport was pushing towards his former company that Joey had invested in. Marples Ridgeway was doing very well, and Joey with them. Jack's trial for possessing a firearm with intent to commit robbery was to go before my good friend, Melford Stevenson. The judge knew what our relationship was, as he'd been to Jack's club where I got him girls. Jack didn't help his case by crying foul the whole time, saying the police had fitted him up and planted the gun in his flat. That wasn't the sort of statement Melford Stevenson wanted to hear, being a good friend of the police. The real surprise at the end of it was a sentence he handed out.
Members of the jury, how do you find the prisoner in the dock, Jack Braden, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Is that the verdict of you all?
Yes, it is, my lord.
What, are you crackers? Old Bill planted that gun.
Prisoner will either be silent or removed to the cell.
But they did, I've already...
Be silent, Braden. Stand up, Braden. You have been found guilty by a jury of your peers, and there can be no doubt as to your guilt. For we heard from a succession of police witnesses as to how they found a gun in your rooms. You can be grateful that the early intervention by these policemen prevented the commission of a far more serious offence.
I'm innocent, I tell you. Them bastards fitting me up. Honestly, the gun was planted in the house.
Blimey, 18 months.
Don't worry, Mum. With time served and with remission, he'd be out in no time.
That's what worries me, Brian. His sentence was too lenient. You know that, Judge. Did you talk to him? Ask him to go light on Jack?
Oh, of course I didn't. What's your problem, Mum?
Nothing. It's just that he deserves more after what he done to your dad.
Did, Mum?
Don't you start.
Where is Dad? I thought he'd want to be here to hear what Jack got.
The only thing he wants with Jack is to spit on his grave. He's having lunch with his solicitor, Arnold Goodman, at White's Club. That'll cost a few bob.
I'll have a half bottle of the 59 Puy Frisé, George.
Very good, sir.
No, make it a bottle.
I'll have a pot of tea, milk and sugar.
Yes, sir.
How much does lunch cost me here, Arnold?
I'll put it on my bar bill, Joey.
Oh, it ends up on my bill somewhere. I'm not complaining. I've done nicely from some of your advice. Just curious.
£15 or so, with the wine.
It's a week's wages for most men in this country.
I wouldn't be surprised, Joey. How many shares do you have in Marples Ridgeway?
60,000 in total. Is there something wrong?
Far from it.
That includes the shares at that banker Julian Turwitt holds that I replaced.
My advice is to put all those shares in a nominee account in Jersey. You'll only pay 6p in the pound tax.
I like the sound of that, Arnold. Not so keen on my assets being where I can't see them.
Well, it's no different from money in the bank. You can't go and look at it, or the gold that's backing sterling.
What's the advantage, apart from the tax saving?
No one knows who owns the shares. This will be a great advantage when Turwitt tries to sell you out and unload your original shares. If you're not seen to be holding any, he can't smell a rat.
This is turning out to be a very cheap lunch.
I think you should buy a whole lot more shares.
How are you going to get the money for all this investment, Joey?
It'll be difficult for a man of my resource, Cath. We'll see just how resourceful I am.
Perhaps we were too hasty putting Jack away. We could have offered to help dispose of some of that money from the big robbery Brian said he was talking about.
Yeah, that sort of crime's too near the knuckle. What if our friends in the Tory party got wind of it? Getting inside information about government policy is one thing. Actual proceeds from robbery is another.
Well, get your skates on or we'll be late for John Bloom's party.
Charmaine, I wonder why you keep me waiting. Charmaine.
John, I need to raise some money.
Joey, this is a party. Can't we talk business tomorrow?
I want to cash in my shares in Rolls Razor. You said you'd buy them off me any time.
I'll write you a cheque for them before you leave. Do you know what they're worth? Of course you do.
Shares are trading at 8 and 6 at close today. That makes my 20,000 worth 8,500.
I've got to raise some money myself. I'm seeing Isaac Wolfson in the morning. Your cheque will be all right.
You've got to stop expanding, John. You can't sustain it.
No, for John Bloom, the sky's the limit.
The way you run things is worrying.
As long as we go on making money, Joey.
But the way you spend it, there's not enough in the bank for a rainy day.
That's where you're wrong. Sir Isaac Wolfson has agreed to back us with a multi-billion-pound loan. That lawyer of yours fixed it up.
My parting advice is stop treating income like it's in your own personal account, or Isaac Wolfson won't stay around.
Here's someone who might interest you, Joey. Emile Savundra. He's always got an eye for an opportunity.
Hello, old chap. Yeah, I was trying to interest some of your friends in motor insurance to meet the growing demand.
Talk to Joey about it. I must get that skinny kid David Jones to sing.
So why do you think there'll be such an increase in demand?
It's the new age of consumerism, old chap. Purchase tax down, tax on cars down. You save over £30 on the price of a Mini, £600 on a Rolls Royce. I can insure either for a fraction of the price anyone else charges.
Just tonic water, thanks.
No gin in that.
I don't drink alcohol.
Rise in car use will follow Ernest Marples' huge motorway building programme.
Perhaps we should set up a road building company.
Oh, too late. The Tories have parcelled the work out to their cronies.
Perhaps I should join the Tory party then.
You're John Bloom's financial director, I believe.
Not anymore. I've resigned.
Oh, a wise move, old chap. You can't control him. Are you looking for another position? I wouldn't mind getting your thoughts about some bearer bonds I've been offered. They seem too good to be true. Is there somewhere we can talk away from this ghastly music? Perhaps I could give you dinner at my club.
I'm surprised at you, Joey Oldman. Join the local Tory party.
Is there one here in Bayswater?
We vote Labour.
Why, they've never done much for us. Labour Council in Camden posed our planning application to increase one of the shops to sell groceries. Try to compete with these supermarkets.
You should have bribed them. You can bet the supermarkets do.
That's not the way we do business, Brian.
Oh, no. That's why I see George Fenwick each week.
I'd say we were natural Tories, Cath. We believe in free enterprise.
I don't know what Brian's friend Tom Dryburgh would say. He's Labour.
No, he doesn't think much of his own lot either, Mum. Never did.
So, what else does this Emile Savundra say about car insurance?
Well, if he can sell it as cheap as he reckons, it'd be a gold mine. It would cost me almost as much again to insure the E-Type with the regular insurers.
Why don't you talk to Arnold Goodman about it?
Lawyers don't talk for nothing, Cath.
But if it's good advice, it's worth it.
I had a look at Emile Savundra's business plan, Joey. You realise the man is a crook.
I had twigged to that, Arnold. I just wanted to know if I put money in, how much I get more than my investment out.
Well, you got your money back from John Bloom. Quite a feat. But just don't insure your own car with Savundra's Fire, Auto and Marine Insurance Company. Or, if you do, don't have an accident.
You think it's that bad?
His business model is based on selling insurance with not enough provision to pay claims. The type of customer he'll attract won't be the most careful. He has too little of the risk underwritten by the insurers. It will all be about timing the getting out.
Well, everything in successful business is about timing, Arnold. I'd want to get out before the level of claims exceeds income.
Well, I'd have a close look at those negotiable bonds he's using to underwrite the business. I'm not an expert.
You think they're forged?
Caveat emptor. Buyer beware. They might be wrong. Especially as he's using them to raise money rather than selling them.
I know someone who'd know they were forged.
Hello?
Brian? Oh, thank God.
What's up, Dad? What time is it?
11:30 in the morning.
Late night at the club. We had the Kray twins in causing trouble.
Everything all right?
Oh, it's only going to get worse, that's for sure. That wasn't why you called?
I'm after your forger, pal, Van Dyke. Can't get hold of him. I need his opinion urgently.
I know someone who'll know where he is.
Yeah, can you get up and do this today? Mr. Savundra, you are an out-and-out crook.
My dear chap, that's a bit below the belt.
I had your negotiable bonds checked. Forgeries.
Ah, well, then we have no basis for doing business.
Not necessarily so. As you're obviously not in business for the long haul, you have to look at ways to make money faster.
Sir, I'm all ears.
First, you need to avoid having the risk underwritten by the insurers.
Yeah, but some of the customers might not be happy about that.
Your sort of customers won't know or care. At present, you are underwriting the risk at a hefty premium. Remove that premium and the profit arc rises more steeply.
It will fall when claims start arriving.
You've allowed 40% of premium income against claims. Cut it to 15% and find ways of delaying claims. And cut the initial premium to 55% below the market rates. You'd capture a huge slice of the market.
Mr. Oldman, you are a crook after my own heart.
That still leaves a question of capitalisation using forged bonds.
Forged? That's a harsh indictment, old chap.
Then why aren't you selling them to capitalise your business?
They belong to my family trust in India. I borrowed them.
If we're to do business, then we have to be frank with one another.
Well, then I'm afraid the game is up for us.
I know a banker who's greedy enough to capitalise the business, probably for half the value of the bond's face value.
You want me to tell him about my family trust?
Well, he won't put up the money if you tell him they're forgeries. At 50% of their value, he'll look to find a reason to close you out and sell the bonds at a premium.
How do you know such a scoundrel?
I'll set up a meeting and we'll see if we can't get Fire Auto and Marine up and running and making us money.
I know you don't, Joseph, but a glass of bubbly's a chink anyway.
One of us has to keep a clear head.
Well, what will we toast? I can't express my gratitude enough, Mr. Towett.
Julian, please.
Julian.
Though I'm a little concerned. £60,000 isn't enough capital to start up. The bank could always advance more on other bonds from your family trust.
At your rates, Julian, we'll manage with the 60.
Oh! Joseph is always watching the pennies. Here's to the enormous success of the company. May it never have a claim against it.
May all the claims be only small ones.
Oh. And be a long time getting settled.
Yes.
Oh, Julian.
Yeah?
Cath wanted to get involved in local politics.
It'll take up a lot of her time and offer not much satisfaction.
Thinking of joining the local Tory party.
Oh, well, that's different. Joey, I'll introduce you to Margaret Courtney. She runs things in Bayswater.
That concludes our business for the evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for coming and being so supportive. It only remains for me to introduce two of our latest members, Joseph and Catherine Oldman. I know you'll make friends with them and give them a real Tory welcome. Thank you.
Oh, so pleased to meet you both. Are you related to Charles Oldman, Chancellor of Wadham?
I don't think so.
No, he's such a good friend. You have the build of a Cox. Did you Cox for your college, Joseph?
Most people call me Joey.
Oh, Joey it is.
Good show, Florence, making them feel part of the family. Now, if you'd excuse us, dear, I want to introduce Joseph to the chairman of the Finance Committee. He's such a dear. Getting a little hard of hearing. I'm sure you and Catherine could help him with some fundraising ideas.
If we can't, I'm sure we can help find someone who can.
Just being modest. Mrs. Marples tells me you're a good friend of Arnold Goodman.
Is that the wife of the Minister of Transport? I'm surprised she knows I exist.
Ruth knows everything about her husband's business.
Joey does a lot of business with Mr. Goodman.
What are your interests, Catherine? You on any local school committees? We'll drag you on soon if you're not.
I've been too busy running Joseph's greengrocery business. 11 shops.
Excellent. A woman at the helm.
I don't make any decisions without discussing it with Joseph.
Oh, you're being too modest, Cath. You run those shops like Swiss clockwork.
Well, I'll definitely try to co-opt you into one of our steering committees. Perhaps the board at St Mary's Hospital, Paddington. The chairman would be thrilled to have a dynamic woman joining them.
Oh, I'm not sure I'll be qualified.
Oh, of course you are, Cath. It's not surgery Margaret's asking you to perform.
Oh, Joseph. You're so witty, as well as clever financially. I'm sure we're going to be the best of chums.
Oh, Joseph, you're so witty and so pretty and losing your hair.
I'll give over, Cath, for Christ's sakes. She was being friendly.
To you, she weren't like that with me. I saw the way she was looking at you.
Don't be daft. According to Arnold Goodman, she's well connected.
Oh, these people make me feel uncomfortable. We're not from that class.
Money's going to determine class in future. Money don't care who owns it.
Doesn't, Joseph?
That's right, it doesn't. We're getting things right, Catherine. Getting to sound more proper. Margaret Courtney could be an asset to us with her connections. Like Ernest Marples and his wife.
I don't like her, Joey. She makes me feel like I walked in with dog muck on my shoe.
I'll tell you what, I bet none of them ladies could manage those greengrocer shops, much less as well as you do.
Maybe.
Yeah. Let's pick up some fish and chips and have them in front of the telly.
Oh, my word, Joseph Oldman. On your way to being a millionaire, stopping for fish and chips? What would your new hoity-toity friends think of that?
Please, miss, please.
Oh, Joseph, you're so witty. Oh, if your admirer Margaret Courtney could see you now, eating chips out of a newspaper in front of the telly, would she think you so witty?
Oh, I'm sure she'd say I'd like some of that.
You wouldn't ever go after a woman like that, Joey.
What are you talking about? When have I ever looked at another woman?
Well, you've never met women like her before.
Don't be daft, Cath.
Oh, I couldn't stand it if you did, Joey.
Kathy, it's you I married.
Well, only because you had to on account of me being pregnant with Brian.
No, I married you because I wanted to. I loved you. Still do.
Oh, Joey, do you really mean that?
Of course I do. Come here. What's the matter? Cath, what's wrong?
Oh, pain in my left breast when you squeezed it.
Sort of pain?
Oh, I don't know. Pain. I found a lump there. Well, I don't expect it's serious.
You get yourself to the doctor's first thing in the morning.
Joey was worried about Mum, but not worried enough to take time off to get her to the doctor's surgery. Mum was scared of what it might be, so didn't go. She thought what she didn't know couldn't hurt her. A silly mistake, but one she'd learned to live with. Joey was quite taken with the local Tory party lady, and well he might be, for she was later to introduce him to a very important lady in the Conservative Party who was going to change our lives. Jack did his time sewing mailbags in Wandsworth Prison and telling me how to run things when I visited him, telling me to stay away from Leah. He must have still thought I fancied her. What I didn't tell him was that Leah had scarpered. Where to, I had no idea and wasn't going to try and find out. Who did come around the club without Jack there was Ronnie Kray. He said he'd heard we were more interested in blagging money from wages vans and running clubs nowadays, that he and his brother Reggie would take the place over for us. I threatened him with a flick knife. Then I got a visit from Superintendent Ken Drury.
Now, I have to hand it to you, Brian. You've made a few improvements here with your crazy uncle away. It looks respectable enough to bring the wife out.
Should be most welcome, Mr. Drury.
I should say so. Duck with you pulling flick knives on customers. Are you mad?
Ronnie Cray's not a customer, he's an extortionist. He wants our little club.
You could do worse.
I don't think so.
Mugging Ronnie off has made him like a man with a wasp up his bum.
Well, that fat puff knows where I live.
That's the problem, Duck. Things were nice and sweet. Trouble means lost income for everyone. Look how bad it was in the old days. Now, we will not tolerate 1 penny drop in our income. Understand?
I'll get the message, Mr. Drury, loud and clear. Just tell that fat puff to stay out of my way. Just to show good faith, if you reach over the bar, there's an envelope with a monkey in it.
No, you're talking my language, Brian. And why don't you walk it out to my car after I leave? OK, Duck? I'll be outside.
What's that about, bro? Some sort of trouble?
I can handle it, Pongo. Drury fears entrapment. It's good. Right, I'll put this outside for him. Can you hold the fort?
That's what I've been doing, bro.
You left this behind.
What's that?
What's going on?
OK, take him.
Hey?
Come here.
You're under arrest for trying to bribe a police officer.
There's a turn up for the books. Talk about a pot calling the kettle black.
Put the little line in the car. Just watch him. He's a slippery turd.
All right.
Joey, the telephone's ringing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's 10 o'clock at night.
Well, one of us had better answer it.
Oh, something's happened to Brian, I know it.
No, no such thing, Cath. Is this Bayswater 5755? Oh, George. I see. And money you think will do it? Well, I don't know if I can get that amount. I'll come right away. Thanks, George.
Joey, what's happened?
It's George Fenwick. Brian's been arrested, trying to bribe a policeman.
Well, he wouldn't have to try very hard.
Bloody Ken Drury. George says he thought £1,000 would get him out.
1,000? What does Drury want to do, retire?
I can't put my hands on that tonight.
Well, try a cheque and then stop it.
That'd be handy. Best meet with Drury.
Now you're trying to bribe a policeman, Mr. Oldman.
I wouldn't try that, Mr. Drury. This is business between two gentlemen.
If that son of yourn thought the same way, life would be sweeter.
Make allowances for his youth and hot-headedness. I'd suggest £500 to make things sweeter.
Well, going in that direction, another 5 would be even sweeter.
Oh, I'm sure. This 5 and the 5 you had out of the club.
Oh, no, that money is now police property.
I wish I had you negotiating some of my deals, Mr. Drury. How grand it is. I can't put my mitts on that sort of gelt tonight. You'll trust me till tomorrow.
Of course. We're gentlemen, aren't we?
Thought I was going down, the way he came on.
Yeah, it's a costly business, Brian. I can't afford too many of these.
I'll pay you back. I'll give you me E-type money.
You could pay me back by getting out of the club business and working for me full time. What brought this on with Drury?
Ah, the ugly sisters. Krays were pushing their luck with Jack away.
You know, I don't see the attraction of those clubs. It's not like they're a saleable asset.
That's because you're not involved, Dad. Look at the sort of people we have coming through the door wanting what we supply. Judges, politicians, high-ranking civil servants. They must see something in it.
That sort of excitement's like drinking. After a while, the effects wear off and then you need another drink. And before you know it, you're an alcoholic.
I thought you were keen for me to make something of myself. I'm doing all right. A nice flat, 15 suits, bit of money in the bank. Mixing with the right people.
People who'll dump you when the going gets rough. Would any of them have gone along the police station and bribed that corrupt policeman?
Of course they'd have helped. They're my friends.
All this foolishness will do is land you in the same place as Jack. If the Krays don't kill you while he's not here to protect you.
That's funny, Dad. So funny you should be on Sunday night at the London Palladium. I might top him first. No one would miss him.
Yeah. Was it worth going to prison for?
I'm not ever going back to prison. Never.
That statement was very ironical in view of what happened. 30 years behind the door for a crime I didn't commit. And Joey Oldman responsible for me getting banged up. But here I go again, getting ahead of myself. The Krays ducked into the club a few times and vaguely threatened us into quitting. Ronnie and me traded threats and insults. Him saying who he was going to send after me. He never did. Maybe he thought it wasn't going to do any good with our bribing his favourite bent copper. Or maybe he saw what influential people popped into the club now Jack wasn't there. One of those influential people got up in the House of Commons and made a statement assuring Harold Macmillan and his fellow MPs that there was no impropriety whatsoever between him and Christine Keeler. Jack Profumo said he had only met her once through a mutual friend. He threatened to issue writs for slander if these scandalous allegations were repeated. He wasn't helped by the fact that Christine had gone missing on account of being called as a witness in the trial at the Old Bailey. There, the matter should have ended. But it wasn't about to. With time served and time off for good behaviour, Jack was out in time to miss out on what was Ronnie Biggs's great train robbery. Jack was not pleased. The other bit of bad news for him was Leah Cohen disappearing. She was good at that, as I remember.
Why'd you let her go, Brian? Why didn't you stop her?
You didn't want me to go anywhere near her.
You must have some idea where she is.
If I knew, I'd tell you. Of course I would.
I'll kill her. I'll kill Snaky Ronnie Biggs too if that train gets done without me. I want my whack whoever does it. You must have heard something.
What can you do about it, Jack? Nothing. He dropped you out.
You see. I'll find them rats and get my share. See if I don't.
Yeah, well, good luck. Get enough for me eat up while you're at it.
First things first. I want to find Leah. Oh, I need a bunk up.
Well, there's enough girls here in the club to oblige.
What you been doing while I've been away? Pongo said you've been having a whole gang of queers here.
Piss off. The only queers been in's Ronnie Kray.
What do you want?
What do you think? He sees what a cushy number we've got here. Him and Reg wanted to take the place over. Me and Pongo set them straight, didn't we, Pongo?
Right, well, when I found Leah, me and Pongo and you will pay them Kray twins a visit and show them they can't take liberties.
There's no need for that, Jack. We set them straight.
I say who's set straight. I'm going to go see Leah's old man, Sammy Cohen. Find out where she is. Liberty taker.
I didn't tell him that, bro. About the queers being here.
He needs to calm down, get back on his feet. See what's doing in the club.
I should know what my Leah is doing. I don't see her 1 month to the next, thanks to Jack Braden.
You must know where she is, Sammy.
I have the telephone installed at great expense. You'd think I was buying the GPO. Does she ring me? You do not let her ring her father.
I love her, and I want her back.
You should die the way you treated my little girl.
Don't give me that, you kike. Tell me where she is.
Yes, rough me up like the Nazis. That's how you treated her. I pray to God, if God still hears me, that my Leah never in her life sees you again.
Go to hell. I'll find her. I will.
If you gotta make a fool of someone, dear, you really kinda hurt me.
Right. Them posh friends of yours just come in with Christine Keeler, that judge and a Profumo bloke. I know you like to deal with important ones.
Everyone who spends money in here is important, Pongo. Come on.
Aubrey!
Tom, Jack. 3 of my favourite punters with my favourite girlfriend. How are you, Christine?
Has Mandy been in, Brian? She was supposed to meet us.
Oh, I haven't seen her. It's early, though.
Aubrey wants her to go to a party with us at Lord Astor's place.
She said she was coming.
Oh, I can ask our Jack.
I don't feel inclined to wait for her, Aubrey. I can't stay long at Clifton. I've got an early plane to catch tomorrow.
Let's go on and leave her a note.
Bugger that for a lark, Tom. I'm not going to the party without a girl. I might get sozzled and fetch up with a boy.
What about little Shirley over there, Judge?
Not there. Is she free?
For you, Judge? I'll make sure of it.
Why don't you and Jack come with us, Brian?
I'll ask him. He could do with cheering up.
I don't mind who goes as long as we get going.
OK, old fruit, keep your shirt on.
Just what he won't do, will he, Jack?
Naughty.
When we get into your official car, Jack, I don't mind if that little poppet sits on my lap.
Yes, but can we go?
Jack wasn't interested in leaving the club for a party, no matter how important the company. Until I whispered what Tom Dryberg had told me, that the Kray twins would be there. That was like a red rag to a bull. How the ugly sisters were doing was all Jack seemed to hear about inside. They were getting real celebrity status, entertaining George Raft and Judy Garland at their cheap club. The journey out to Buckinghamshire with everyone crammed into Jack Profumo's official car took about an hour. Christine was on Profumo's lap, Shirley on the judge's, and guessing from the sounds they were making, I doubt they needed to get to the party for what they had in mind. Cliveden, Lord Astor's pile was impressive. 4 stories high, but too chocolate box for my taste. It had more bedrooms than a hotel, and even with 100 or so guests partying in one of the drawing rooms, the place still seemed empty. No sooner did we get there than Jack Profumo disappeared upstairs with Christine Keeler. The judge did the same. Tom Dryberg and I slipped away from Jack and looked around to see who was available. Tom took me across to meet a large, plummy politician called Bob Boothby, who propositioned me. If I'd known at the time that he was shagging Dorothy Macmillan, the Prime Minister's wife, I might have taken him up and used the contact to help Joey make further inroads into Tory party politics. Instead, I spotted a pretty young man and said I'd give him a pull and pass him over. Bob Boothby's eyes widened in anticipation. The boy must have needed glasses.
Oh, hello. Are you Ronnie Kray? I was brought here to meet you.
No, not me. I'll take you to meet him, though. Come on, there he is by the fireplace. This is the man himself. He's here especially to meet you.
How utterly charmed I am to meet you, young sir.
Oh, you do speak ever so nice, Ronnie.
Ronnie?
He's here to meet you. Ronnie Kray.
My mum said you was a bit rough.
Did she? Well, I can be very rough. And incredibly kind. I think I'll be the latter to such a good-looking boy as you.
Bob Boothby had immense charm, and the young man almost floated on a cloud of air towards the stairs with him. I'd been at the party for about 40 minutes when I met up with a sullen-looking Jack. He wasn't enjoying the party, and it wasn't going to get any better for him, when a trail of guests was gravitating towards the billiards room. Stephen Ward was standing near the door.
How are you, Jack? Recovered from your prolonged illness?
My Leah buggered off while I was away.
Huh? C'est la vie.
What's that supposed to mean, Stephen?
Did I see sweet Bianca slip upstairs with Jack Profumo?
What's it got to do with Leah?
I wouldn't go in there if I were you, Brian. The twins are in there dispensing medicine.
The Krays? We'll see about that.
Jack!
Oh, what do we got here? Tweedledum and Tweedledee sitting in those leather chairs like they was on a throne. And who's that mug with them? George Cornell, doling out drugs like his boots the chemists on Piccadilly.
Oh, Jack, I heard you was out and working on your tan.
What's he doing here? This is a party for decent people, not slag heaps.
How come a whoreson like you got let in then, Jack?
That's it. Oi, George! Why don't you keep your goons under lock and key? Spoiling a good party.
I'm gonna spoil your manhood.
Look out! He's got a knife!
Steady on, Ron.
Now you know how the pig feels, you fat bum boy.
Ronnie Kray was screaming like he was murdered instead of getting it in the left buttock with my flick knife. I felt a huge surge of excitement doing that, and was about to stab him again when Jack grabbed my arm and whispered it was time to collect the judge and go. I slid the knife away, doubting if anyone but Jack and Ronnie knew what had happened. People edged towards the stricken Kray twin for a proper look. The hapless George Cornell, with his broken mouth, was forgotten. The judge was well finished with Shirley and coming down the stairs. Jack Profumo wasn't about to abandon ship. He was only just getting started with Christine Keeler. We took his car and driver and headed back to town. That was the last I saw of the Minister of War, and the last I saw of Stephen Ward. He went on trial at the Old Bailey for living off immoral earnings, and during the trial took his own life. But not before he wrote to the Prime Minister and Harold Wilson, leader of the opposition, saying Jack Profumo's statement to the House of Commons was false. Profumo resigned and left Parliament altogether, and Macmillan lost a vote of confidence and also resigned, letting Lord Hume take over. None of this mattered to Jack, who was stressing over losing Leah. It was like she'd vanished off the face of the earth. Maybe she had, because Jack couldn't get a line on her anywhere. But that all went for nothing when in early August he woke up to the news of what was to be referred to as the Great Train Robbery. Jack was up and banging on my door before I was awake and brushed my teeth.
Jesus Christ, Jack, what's happened? World War III?
Not half. They done it. Them snaky bastards done that train without me. I'll kill that Ronnie Big Stone dead.
Shh, get in.
It's on the news. They reckon them mail sacks held more than 1 million.
What a result!
I've been going mental, Brian.
What would you expect me to do, Jack? Get your share?
That's what we got to do, all right. Find them slags and get my whack.
Oh, I did hear Bobby Brown was in thick with Biggsy before he disappeared.
Well, where's Bobby now?
Well, I haven't seen him since... well, just before you got out.
Biggsy knew I was getting out, so they disappeared, cutting me out. It ain't gonna happen. Find Bobby Brown, find him, we find Biggsy and get our share. Don't piss around making coffee, Brian. Get going.
As the day wore on, I got no closer to finding Bobby Brown. His wife said she hadn't seen him in weeks. I believed her, but Jack didn't believe me. He wanted me to torture the truth out of her. He was getting more and more crazed with each piece of news that came out. By the time the late edition of the Evening Standard was on the street, the cops had found some of the blaggers hiding in the cellar of a farmhouse near where the train had been stopped. If that wasn't bad enough, the reported sum in those mail sacks was now £3 million. I got a telephone message left for me at the club from Tom Dryburgh. He wouldn't come to the club after the political scandal with Jack Profumo and Stephen Ward and the security risk they posed. We met in Hyde Park.
There are going to be serious repercussions from this train robbery, Brian. A theft of this size has changed the whole socio-dynamic of crime.
What's that meant to mean?
Senior members of the government have come back off holiday to discuss it, so have the opposition. They're demanding results.
Great. We get the blame, Tom, but not the dough.
I won't be able to help you anymore, Brian.
We weren't involved in this, Tom, we weren't.
I'm pleased to hear it. Just be careful. That's all I can say. Goodbye, dear boy.
What's going on? Why aren't we open?
Jack's got other plans tonight.
That's right. Frank O'Kane, the bookmaker I work for, came to see me. He got approached by a villain to help him move some money.
How much?
Too much. The villain said they had more money than any of them expected.
From the train? Who's the villain? Not Bobby Brown.
None other. The bookmaker set up a meeting at the Ladbroke Arms in Notting Hill. You come too.
We got under that cloth, Pongo.
A rat in a box?
What for?
You'll see. Come on.
When Bobby Brown came through the door of the pub and spotted Jack, he flew right out again. We were straight after him. He darted across Ladbroke Grove in a panic and almost got hit by a 52 bus. We captured him and dragged him into a house Joey owned on the corner of Blenheim Crescent. I had the keys as I was chasing a non-payer. We took Bobby to an empty room that smelt of burnt chicken fat. Then I learned what the rat was for.
Where's the money, Bobby?
What money's that, Jack?
Well, you want the bookmaker Frank Cocaine to get rid of.
I'm brassy. Straight. I was going to rob the bookie. They were always loaded. Well, straight up, Brian, you know me. Never could keep hold of money.
That's why we want to help you, Bobby. So you keep some of it.
I don't have nothing.
OK, Bobby, don't piss us around. You took a right liberty going off with Biggsy and cutting us out.
I didn't. I didn't do that.
Do you know what we got in the box? It's a rat. Give me that leather glove, Pongo. Open the box. I'm going to put it down your shirt unless you tell us.
Jack, you can't. I hate rats.
Oh, Jack, I ain't got no money.
Hold him, Pongo.
Tell him, Bobby.
No, Jack, please.
Tell him, Bobby. Hold him, Pongo. Get on.
Bobby Brown told where the money was. 55 grand was his share. It was the dream Bobby always had of striking it rich. But like most villains, he ended up with nothing. The irony was, if he'd left the dough where it was and kept quiet and spent just a little at a time, he could probably have lived comfortably for the rest of his life. But like most villains, he had to talk to someone who told someone else, which had consequences. He told of one other blagger he knew with a share, David Crutwell out of Canning Town. Only when we got there, the Richardson brothers were just ahead of us and had taken the blagger away. We found them at their breakers yard in Waterloo, with Crutwell in an old chair in their caravan office. Charlie was pulling the man's teeth out with a pair of pliers, ignoring his screams that were barely heard above the rattle of nearby trains and a screaming grinder. Charlie Richardson was as cool as he could be when we walked in.
Any chance I could get my aching tooth pulled out, Charlie?
Hello, Jack. How are you, son? Brian?
You got our man there.
He don't know nothing. We'd have talked. Take him to one of your bent doctors, Brian.
Looks like someone ought to. You sure he didn't tell you where his whack is?
Either he got nothing, or he's got an exceptional pain threshold.
What's that?
Didn't they teach you nothing in the army? Get him out of here.
Come on, David, let's give you a hand.
I did tell him, Jack. All my wackies.
Then why were they still pulling your teeth out?
Because they enjoy it. There's some petrol in the van. Come on, let's burn them out.
Put that bar across the door, Pongo. Jam it. Charlie! You got 5 seconds to tell us where the money is, or we'll burn you out.
What's that smell? Petrol?
You ain't nicking our money.
Well, it's out. You come and talk to us first.
You watch your mouth.
Give me a lighter, Pongo. That's 5.
The Richardsons threw themselves at the door, breaking the bar, but came out with their clothes on fire. The deal for the money they knew about was easily done. Jack didn't get any more shares, but that didn't stop him looking for any of the others. The police were more successful at finding them than Jack was. Within a month, Ronnie Biggs had been arrested and 15 others with shares. With each one, Jack got angrier and angrier. He even stopped stressing about Leah. The problem with the villains on the Great Train Robbery was that their shares were too big. They couldn't cope with having so much money. No one really knew how much was involved or how many villains were still at large with it. Joey was to learn more when he got an approach from someone well placed in the robbery. But I'm getting ahead of myself again. The biggest story of 1963, one that made the Great Train Robbery all but disappear, was the assassination of President Kennedy in Dallas. For a time, the whole world stood still, and hope for the future seemed to freeze. It would take a long while before we'd breathe easily again.
That's what I want.
In G.F. Newman's The Corrupted, Joey Oldman was played by Toby Jones, Cath Oldman by Denise Gough, Brian Oldman, Joe Armstrong, and Jack Braden by Luke Allen Gale. Judge Melford Stevenson was Richard Wilson, Christine Keeler, Jasmine Hyde, Pongo, Chinawadu, Ken Drury and Profumo, Matthew Marsh, Emil Savundra, Sanjeev Bhaskar, Arnold Goodman, Edward Max, Turwitt and Sammy Cohen, Jonathan Tafler, Tom Dryberg, Nigel Cook, Margaret Courtney, Vanessa Kirby, Bobby Brown, Charles Davis, Bob Boothby, Paul Jesson, Charlie Richardson, Patrick Marlowe, and David Crutwell, Will Adamsdale, with Ross Kemp as the narrator. G.F. Newman's The Corrupted was produced and directed by Clive Brill and is a Brill production for BBC Radio 4.
That's why